So one of the reasons that I want to do this consistently, not just once, this is going to be a thing that I do throughout the month of March and then probably again after a bit of a break, which I'll get to in a second. I want to get better at talking and thinking while writing and drawing. So part of this is a little bit of kind of selfish skill building involved here. I really like the potential of sketchnoting, of visual thinking in general, to be this tool that folks can use in conversations with others, in meetings, in any situation where you want to more clearly express an idea, and not just express an idea, but explore it. Have a conversation about it, try to figure out what's going on with whatever it is that you're exploring in that time. And I think there's a lot of power in like the combo of these four things that I just described. These very four like somewhat different and distinct tasks that I think will take a lot of practice to get good at it. So to be doing kind of all of these things at once, as I now like think about the visual way that I want to express this, it's much more of like a cyclical process, right? I'm going to try to kind of speak my thoughts as frequently as possible, or like there's a pacing issue to the talking and thinking and writing and drawing that is involved when I mention like getting good at this. I'll have a couple of different kind of writing devices, even though I am of course only using one. Got my Apple Pencil here. So it's like doing these different things kind of all at once, but you're kind of cycling through them, right? And it's probably not even always in that order. Like you're going in all these different directions. So I think when I talk about like getting good at this, it's getting good at kind of doing all of those things at once, but also getting good at bouncing back and forth between any two of those things. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention about why I'm doing this live streaming. Second, going with kind of a mind map approach as I build out these ideas here. The second reason I'm doing this is I would like to deepen my connection with the YouTube audience. So even though I've been publishing consistently here on YouTube for a while, I feel like I still haven't hit my groove. Like I haven't found the format here, the style, the rhythm that I felt really good about. And I think to get to that rhythm, get to that place, I liked the idea of just having kind of more direct interaction with you and kind of move somewhat in a similar direction as we've moved inside of Verbal to Visual. So those that have a membership with Verbal to Visual, thank you so much for being a part of that learning environment. We got a good schedule there. We've got our weekly workshops. We've got a prompt that I post every Monday. I just posted that one like 20 minutes ago. Places there for you to share your sketchnoting work through the courses that I offer there. I feel good about what's going on within that space. And I've enjoyed the connectedness there, the sense of community that's building there. And I kind of want to bring some of that sense of community here to YouTube, because I think that'll make this space more interesting for me, and I hope more interesting and valuable for the folks who just watch on YouTube. And maybe like a Verbal to Visual membership isn't like the right fit for you now, or that's just not something that you're interested in. Bringing some of that, some of those dynamics, some of that level of connection to YouTube here. So we've got YouTube and we've got a bunch of folks hanging out here. And there are like, I have mentioned this in a few different places, but I stopped using all other social media platforms outside of YouTube. Not that there aren't other interesting conversations going on in other places, but I have found that from a focus standpoint, an engagement standpoint, YouTube is the one that I am most interested in and want to invest more time and energy into, fine-tuning what it is that I do here. So this is an opportunity for me to connect more. And on a deeper level, let's add an N. Thank you, Digital Sketchnoting and Concepts, to allow this type of editing. With this experiment too, it's different. It's different than anything really I've done on YouTube, especially. And what I want to do, what I'm choosing to emphasize with this format is I want to emphasize enthusiasm over polish, and I want to slay perfectionism. One of the books that I just finished recently, it's just called Creative Calling by Chase Jarvis. And at some point, the topic of enthusiasm around your work, I think it was in a section that talked about how you go about sharing your work with others, and even like doing your work. And what I've noticed, even just like the previous 2 or 3 videos that I've shared here on YouTube, I have kind of done a lot of prep work. I used Keynote to make these animated, these drawn animations. I scripted the narration to go along with it. And even though like I like those videos, they're good-ish, they don't have the same enthusiasm. Like my enthusiasm for visual thinking and sketchnoting specifically, but also just like the topics that I'm addressing, I don't think my enthusiasm comes through in the way that I want it to in those scripted, polished videos. So this is a way to bring that enthusiasm in that just comes with doing something live like this, knowing that there are other people watching this right now. It brings a different level of energy, and I think kind of like a truer energy to this work than some previous formats that I've experimented with. And then anything that you can do to like get rid of perfectionism with no matter what sort of creative work you're doing, that's an important thing. One of my recurring visual elements that I use fairly frequently, it's kind of at first complicated to draw, is this scale like this. So what am I weighting more than anything else? Not the best form of this visual, but again, that's kind of the point here. I'm choosing to weight my enthusiasm for these ideas over presenting them only in these polished, scripted, super well diagrammed ways. The next reason that I want to do this, that I am doing this, is I want a space to explore interesting. So often my plan for these live streams, it's kind of like it's going to be a little bit of a combination of me kind of presenting ideas in the way that I am now, or at least introducing topics in some form. But then part of it will be this conversational piece for folks to be able to contribute their perspectives within the comments to get to some picture of the question that I've identified, or the particular topic we want to explore. This is a thing that I've really enjoyed about Verbal to Visual in the weekly workshops that we have there, and that we're going to continue doing there, is the opportunity to get diverse perspectives. One reason that I love the like visual thinking community is how global it is, and how like visual communication can help bring people together, even when like we don't all speak the same, we're not all native English speakers, but we can still kind of come together in part because of the added benefits of kind of communicating visually. So I really like the idea of creating this space to continue exploring topics more often than not related to visual thinking, but also related to kind of creativity and entrepreneurship and education in general. I'll be bringing in ideas from the books that I'm reading and the podcasts that I'm listening to, kind of the stuff that I've been sketchnoting that you've seen on this channel already, continuing to sketch those types of ideas out, but also have more of a conversation around them. The other reason I'm doing this live It's to depict what visual thinking actually looks like. This gets back to a point that I mentioned earlier, how, most of the videos that I've shared on this channel, while they are designed to be these helpful short recaps and these kind of like quick presentations, you see all the writing and the drawing sped up to align with the narration. Sometimes I think that gives a false perception about what sketchnoting actually looks like in real time and what it will feel like for you to do this, because that's the whole purpose of this channel, is to help you develop these skills. And I think to do it in real time like this is more valuable. That's kind of my hypothesis, at least. And I think it also has the potential to be more interesting. But I like the potential for this to show what it actually looks like. You'll get a better sense for the pacing of this type of work. And I also want to use this as a regular opportunity to just like talk through the thought process that goes into sketchnoting. Finally, the last reason that I am live streaming my sketchnotes to YouTube is to build up some videos, build up some content for paternity leave. We've mentioned this in a few videos now. My wife is pregnant with twins, due in the middle of April. So that's why there's this kind of March focus on this live streaming experiment here. And I plan to take a couple of months off from creating new videos and from hosting workshops inside of Verbal to Visual. But I want to keep these things going. I still want to publish videos regularly to YouTube. I still want workshops to be going on inside of Verbal to Visual. On that side, as some of you know, I've reached out to some folks who have been active there within Verbal to Visual to do some guest hosting. I think that'll be fun to see how that goes within Verbal to Visual. Thank you for the folks who are kind of volunteering for that. But the way that I kind of picture that working with these live streams is, what we're doing right now. There's this kind of long, slow pace of exploration here, of sketching things out. This is like the full live stream, which I'm anticipating will go probably about 90 minutes. There's the full live stream, but within that live stream, there's going to be, some distinct sections where we explore different topics. Right now, I'm, creating this mind map of why I'm live streaming my sketchnotes. That's kind of what this first section represents. Next, I'm going to sketch out my setup, which I think will be quite a bit shorter. And then we're going to hop into some Q&A about sketchnoting. And hopefully we'll have the chance to explore maybe 2 or 3 questions. And my plan is for each of those to kind of take that section and turn them into an edited down video. So I will kind of cut out some of the white space. I don't think I want to do any speeding up of the text. There'll be some experimentation to figure out how to do those videos. So these will be the things that I share after this live stream. So my plan is to do these live streams throughout the month of March, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Skipping Wednesday because that's when we have our workshops inside of Verbal to Visual. And I'm going to go with a consistent start time. So I wanted to give myself both like plenty of opportunities to practice this, because that'll be what I think there are maybe like 4.5 weeks. So 18 or so maybe of these live streams for me to get better at thinking and talking while writing and drawing, and deepen my connection with you, the YouTube audience, and emphasize enthusiasm over polish and slay perfectionism, and explore interesting topics together and depict what visual thinking actually looks like, the pacing of it, talking through my thought process along the way, and building up some content to continue publishing while I take a couple of months of paternity leave. So this is why I'm live streaming my sketchnotes.